How's it going, friends? My name is Fringy, and welcome to Fringy Frequency for the 2nd of February 2015. It's about time this topic came up, considering how critical I am of gaming in general, whether it's the games or the media that covers them. So it's about time we talk about who you can trust in gaming media, whether it comes to the old games media, which is, websites and stuff like that, or new games media, which is the YouTubers, the streamers, and all that. Because, to be honest, I really don't trust either. At least not most of them. There are very few reputable sources, in my opinion, when it comes to both sides. So, let's start with the websites, because when it comes to modern gaming now, so many gamers are just so skeptical of gaming websites, and it's pretty clear that these websites are starting to breathe their dying breaths. I mean, the plummeting site traffic of these websites getting shut down. I mean, Joystick just recently got shut down, and last year was like 1UP or something. All these websites getting layoffs. It's clear that that media is starting to die. And which kind of sucks for me because I made FringyGaming.com, but hopefully you consider that to be a reputable source because I try to make it that way. Shameless plug, of course. But when it comes to old websites and stuff like that, IGN, Polygon, Kotaku, Destructoid, all of those websites, I mean, there's very few that you can trust, and it mainly comes down to the shady business practices of these websites and the people that work for them. This is a thing that people often think is that reviews are bought out. Like, as in the review itself is bought out. The publisher walks up to the reviewer and is like, here's money, say our game is good. Doesn't work like that, but there is coercion to be involved, and it's still pretty much equally shameless. Basically, there is no review that's simply bought out. It doesn't work like that. No, the way that it actually happens is, say there's a game coming out. So let's say Evolve's coming out soon. So 2K goes up to a website like IGN and there's ads for Evolve all over, animated ads and things like that. Those ads are bought for by the publisher themselves. When you've got animated ads all over the website, the publisher went specifically to the website to pay them for it. It's not like on a smaller website like mine where it just runs through AdSense, so I got nothing to do with advertising. This is directly from the company. Now, do you really think that if a company is paying a website directly for ads being shown on the website, do you honestly think that they're going to put out a negative review for that product? No, of course not. I mean, do you see this on fucking TV shows? Like, if a show is getting sponsored by fucking Colgate or something, do you see them talking about how shit Colgate is? No. That's how it works. It's basically the same thing. They're just not giving them the money directly, but it's still bad nonetheless. I mean, there are many examples of this. Don't believe me? I mean, Dragon Age 2 is probably the best fucking example of this. So many websites gave Dragon Age 2 glowing reviews despite its self-evident shittiness. And when you went to the websites that had reviews, Dragon Age 2 animated ads all over the website. Like fucking game trailers who gave it a 9.2. Animated ads all over the website. I mean, Mass Effect 3 on IGN, 9.5 out of 10. Animated ads all over the website. It's stuff like that you need to keep an eye out for. It's pretty apparent that most AAA games get way too much praise from these websites. So anytime you go to a website, make sure you look at the ads that are running, as much as it pains you to have to click on their website and give them fucking money for the ads. But if you see an ad for a game that's being reviewed by that website, don't even bother with that review. It's also a problem with the people who work for these websites and the underhanded shit that they do. The thing is that these companies, they aren't so stupid to just pay the person directly. No, they always do it in twisted ways, sneaky ways, under the radar. Like, of course, giving these reviewers and journalists gifts and basically they expect good coverage at the end, not because they told them to, because they know it will. I mean, back in 2009 or something, when they announced the new Xbox 360 model, they gave it away to every person inside of the E3 conference. You're telling me that their criticism of Microsoft will be skewed when they get given a free fucking console? And of course, a lot of reviewers get free consoles, like the PlayStation people at IGN getting their name engraved on the PS4. You really think they're going to offer a critical, solid PS4 coverage when you get a free PS4 with a fucking name engraved on it? And then, of course, the kickbacks that they get from publishers and developers. Things that you will never get because you aren't a journalist. It's stuff like that that really makes them twisted. And, of course, the whole fact that PR and games journalists are too cozy with each other, that they start to become less critical of these companies. How many fucking reviewers at IGN have you heard being critical of EA? How many people at GameSpot have you seen criticizing DLC practices? You don't see it. It just doesn't happen. And that's because they're too buddy-buddy with each other. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, the best example I can give is these fucking GMA awards in the UK that were voted for by fucking PR. PR! You know, PR, public relations, the people who damage control and soften the blow and partner with the publishers to make sure that games get good coverage. And of course, just the outright sweeping of stories under the rug. I mean, how many things got swept under the rug during Gamergate? Like, you know, all these different things that got swept under the rug and then them saying gamers were dead, which you shot yourselves in the foot when you said gamers were dead. Jesus Christ. You fucked yourselves over with that one. Outright censorship of comments. Like on one that was about Anita Sarkeesian on IGN. They deleted comments. Or Polygon shutting their comments right off. Just outright censorship. And I don't care if you're, oh, it's on their own channel. Fuck off. If you can't deal with people disagreeing with you on your own website, I mean, what the fuck can I say? And of course, these stupid hype pieces that they write. I mean, if you see any hype pieces prior to any game coming out, don't even bother with their review. Don't even bother. It's sad. It's really sad how corrupt these people are. And then sweeping under the rug of certain stories, like a writer at Destructoid, I think they got blacklisted because they reported on Chloe Segal, who made a Kickstarter for a game, running off with the money. It was gaming related, and it should have been reported on. But because she had like a sex change or something, political correctness trumps reality and facts and reporting real news. Or, of course, how many websites just flat out ignored the whole drama with a Eurogamer. Eurogamer is a website that I generally like, despite this fuck up. But the Eurogamer writer or contributor, Robert Florence, wrote a great opinion piece that was about the state of gaming journalism. They talked about, you know, the Jeff Keighley Mountain Dew Doritos shit with Halo 4. They talked about the GMAs that I mentioned before, and how their reviewers and these journalists were tweeting out stuff to win a free PS3 by promoting certain games. And when he pointed this out and he used a quote from a Lauren Wainwright, she threatened to sue Eurogamer unless they remove the article. They removed that, the guy stepped down, Robert Florence stepped down, rightfully so, and he got fucking harassed by PR and games journalists. And when people asked websites like Kotaku why they didn't report it, they said, oh, it's not relevant. It's not relevant. Outright fucking censorship of a gaming journalist. But what more do you expect from fucking Kotaku? Really, what more do you expect from Kotaku? The place that still employs Nathan Grayson after him not disclosing that information that he fucked Zoe Quinn because he should have. But I won't even get into that. It's all of this stuff combined. And the damage control. The fucking damage control that we see from from the old websites like these. The gaming industry is not crashing according to the smartest journalist in the world, Colin Moriarty. Despite game sales plummeting off the face of the fucking planet, and despite, company after company shutting down. But the industry is not dying. And again, how many of them do you see touch on microtransactions and stuff? And it's stuff like that that's making that stuff dying. Hopefully smaller websites like mine that I do like and others rise up and take their place and hopefully not get corrupted. Though, to be honest, a lot of people in that medium are just out to get rich, not give you actual fucking news or any critical perspective on gaming. And so it's unsurprising then that so many people are starting to trust new games media as it's being coined. Guess what? I'm not really one of them. Despite being on YouTube, despite consuming a lot of YouTube videos, and despite being subscribed to a lot of YouTube channels, when it comes to new games media, there are very few people I trust for actual good reviews or gaming coverage. The reason why? Because in many ways, people, just regular people, are just as corruptible as gaming websites, and in some instances, more so. There seems to be this general trust of these YouTubers and Let's Players and streamers simply because they're just one person. They're just down to earth, but the fact of the matter is that if you want to be successful on this fucking website and make lots of money, you gotta be a fucking businessman. You gotta do what's good business for you. It sucks, but that's just how it seems to work here. And honestly, I don't trust most people. There are very few people I trust, and the only ones I trust are the ones who are transparent about the deals that they make, or they just don't make deals, period. I mean, seriously, it surprises me how trusting of these gaming YouTubers that they are, when it's pretty obvious that there's some underhanded shit going on. I mean, I remember quite fondly 2013 when Microsoft were paying YouTubers to give positive reviews and positive coverage of the Xbox One, and they couldn't disclose it. So many people did that. I mean, the fact that anybody could trust some of these people after they did that shit blows my fucking mind. Anybody with integrity would have said no outright. And now they've changed it so you need to disclose it, but still, so many YouTubers, you may not know this, but there are so many YouTubers who are part of deals, who they don't show it in the video, and they just put it in the description, or they tuck it away in the bottom of the description, not in the first couple of lines, where it should be, so that people know that these guys are doing paid promotion. And paid promotion occurs a lot more than you think. A lot of Let's Players do paid promotion, a lot of them. You ever see any videos of Let's Plays prior to the game coming out? Usually a deal going on. Usually a deal where it's like, you get it early as a Let's Play and you do positive coverage. Because Let's Players are not reviewers. They don't get that sort of thing like that. And any reviewers who take them, fuck off. If you review a game, you don't do a fucking paid promotion before you do it. Because that's going to skew it. And yet people trust them just because they're a person. Especially when they tuck the fact that it's a paid promotion in the description instead of right there at the beginning of the video for transparency. One of the reasons why I watch Total Biscuit is because he's so transparent. If he does a deal, he puts it in the video, puts it in the description, first couple of lines, and when there are bad deals, he rejects and discloses that information. And the thing is, a lot of these YouTubers don't do full disclosure. They're like, oh, it's sponsored by, and you come back to them expecting good, solid, critical coverage of games. I mean, there are so many Battlefield channels that I won't name that are clearly buddy-buddy with EA, where they get exclusive access to they get early access to games, get to play the maps early, things like that, specifically Battlefield people. And then there's sponsored videos by Battlefield, or EA, I mean. And you're really going to go back to that person expecting them to be solid and actually critical in the ways that they should be about those games? Really? And streamers in particular, I don't know why the fuck people think streamers are out for them. I mean, with the streamers making so much money off of donations and stuff, why on the earth would you really trust them? Especially when these people get review copies early. Well, review copies, the term is used loosely because they're not reviewing them. The thing about new games media that you need to understand is that just because they're a person doesn't mean that they won't shaft you to get money. They will. Now, obviously, I'm not referring to everybody, but there are a lot of paid promotional deals that people seem to just look at obliviously. Or the person does a paid promotion for a game, continues to talk about the game, and they don't think, maybe this person's information is not trustworthy anymore. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that anybody who does a paid promotion is not trustworthy. Far from that. Paid promotions are fine, so long as there's transparency, and so long as you know you can trust that person to be critical of the game afterwards. I mean, I know Boogie did, like, a paid promotion for Shadow of Mordor, but he's a generally critical person. So, even though if he does a paid promotion, I'm fine with it, not only because he's not a reviewer, but because of the transparency of it and the fact that he's still critical. That's what it comes down to. But when it comes to Let's Players, I basically steer clear. Especially those fucking Sims 4 videos that came out prior to launch. The fact that anybody watched those and said, yeah, this is a good compass for what I should buy, blows my mind. It blows my fucking mind. I feel the fundamental problem with the way that people trust new games media, as they call it, is because they're too trusting. When it comes to the websites, like IGN and stuff, they aren't trusting at all. They read everything with skepticism, which is good. But when it comes to these guys, it's just like, nope, they're trustworthy. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't get how, in a modern video game climate like this, how anybody can just watch any video and trust it off the bat. I really don't get it. I really don't get it. And when there are so many YouTubers out there who just aren't critical at all and refuse to just be blunt and say, this game sucks. They're like, oh, I didn't really like it, but it's a great quality or something like that, or some bullshit like that. Instead of just saying, no, the game's bad. And when so many of these games have been bad, how can you trust those people? I don't get it. And I'm not saying like I'm super trustworthy or something like that. I mean, everybody has a bias. I have a bias. I do. Everybody has a bias. There's certain things I like. There's certain things I don't like. That's a bias. However, I try not to let that bias overshadow, reality. And at the same time, I don't do deals or anything like that, paid promotional deals. And I really don't think I ever will. At least not for a long time, or at least not for a game that I'm going to review, or anything like that. But really, I can't fault people for taking paid promotions. I mean, YouTube doesn't pay you a lot of money, so for some people, they need to have third-party ads and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's the price that gets paid by that. I mean, this is something that people who watch these videos need to understand. This is a little bit off topic, but you need to understand that if you want people to make consistent content for you, you gotta help them out when it comes to this. This is a new medium. It's not TV that's self-reliant. It's either they take third-party ads and paid promotion and potentially warp their content, or you support them monetarily. It's a bad trade-off for sure. It puts people between a rock and a hard place. But really, it's only the upper echelon who can make their money solely off of ads. And it's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. However, that does not disvalidate the points that I've made about trusting these people. Again, I don't trust most gaming media in general. I try to find the information myself and read it for myself, and then translate that information to you with my own opinion, if that's what you want. And that's really all it comes down to. You gotta really listen to what these people are saying from both the websites, who are hardly trustworthy except for a few sources. For example, like I said, Eurogamer is a website I refer to, or the YouTubers that you can trust. And you gotta really listen to what they say. You gotta read the descriptions. You gotta follow them and see what the sort of deals that they do. And understand how that could warp their content in the future, both websites and YouTubers. Because a YouTuber is just as corruptible as a website, and as we've seen with these paid promotions for the Xbox One in 2013, the Shadow of Mordor deal, all these deals that happen, they're not as trustworthy as you think. They're not all as trustworthy as you think. Like I keep saying, enter things with skepticism. There's nothing wrong with that. Be more skeptical, and it will be better for you. That's it for Fringy Frequency for the 2nd of February 2015. I'm Fringy, and as always, have a good one.